So a lot of people think of the Libertarians as a far left-wing group, that we're more conservative even than the Republicans. And while we do tend to believe in property rights and lower taxes, there are a branch of Libertarians coming in from the social issues where we are even further left than the Democratic Party. And I'm coming from that side. When I first registered to vote at age 18, I registered as a Democrat. My mother was registered as a Democrat, my father was registered as a Democrat, and as far as I know, my sister is too. But it didn't take long before I became disillusioned with the Democratic Party. You see, you probably all remember back when it looked like the Democrats were going to take power back from the Republicans in both houses of Congress. Everyone was so excited that, the laws that had been passed infringing on our civil rights, those would get reeled back, and our civil liberties, the Defense of Marriage Act, the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy would all be repealed. And I said, that's not going to happen. They're just playing games. And when they got into office, they showed that that was exactly right. They were just playing games. It was just politics. They started making excuses. Well, we could do those things, but George Bush is just going to veto it anyway. So, we're not even going to try. And now we have a Democrat in the White House, too. And they still continue to play games. We still have the Defense of Marriage Act. And it was actually a member of Obama's administration that wrote a memo in support of the act. We still have Don't Ask, Don't Tell. They just played a game with that one where they said, oh, well, we can't get past a filibuster, so forget about it. And that was after another game on the same issue where they said, well, we'll repeal it, but only if the Pentagon thinks it's a good idea. As though the Pentagon were our elected officials. And then there's the Patriot Act. Everyone remembers when that was passed. People were up in arms. The media was outraged. And the Democrats, too, said, well, we passed it in a hurry because we needed to do something, but we realize now that it's terrible, and we'll repeal it when we get a chance. And when they had a chance, when some of those things were set to expire, did they let them? Absolutely not. They renewed the Patriot Act and continued to infringe on our civil liberties. And at that point, I said enough. And a couple of years ago, I actually registered as a Libertarian. Libertarians are in support of civil liberties. They're in support of our individual freedoms. It's not all just the conservative economic part, although there is definitely something to be said about that too. Having lived much of the last 10 years in Baltimore City, I've seen what those policies have gotten Baltimore, and it's not pretty. The block I live on right now has about a third of the houses boarded up, and there's a blue light with a camera connected to the police at each end of the block. That's the Democratic Party, and it's not working. So we're here tonight to let you know that there is another issue, that there is another option, that there is another way. If you want to see real progress instead of just political games, if you want to see a party that will actually fight for your civil liberties instead of just talk a good game, then please remember, come November, that you can vote for someone else. You can vote for the Libertarians. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott Spencer.